Should we start with what we were up to this week? Who wants to start? I need a second.
I can start. Last week or this week?
This week.
Yeah. So I'm working on itemizing the milestones. So that means that you can add like multiple receipts or invoices or expenses on different dates if you want, with different currencies as well. And I'm also including the Ether to fiat exchange in the dApp. It will be ready. Well, I thought it would be ready this week, but I think latest on Tuesday for testing. And then I think it will all work fine without bugs, of course. And then it will be available like end of the week, I hope. So that we have a generic exchange rate built in the dApp, and that would solve a lot of problems. And because of all the people that are in Thailand, I also have like Thai baht to Ether exchange.
Yay!
So you can file your receipts. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. So next, Kai.
Oh, Kai, you're muted.
You're muted.
So nobody can hear me. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. It's a good microphone. Yeah, I was traveling, guys. And before I was researching about our governance. I have some big ideas. I already promoted before, and you won't hear today about all of this stuff. It will take another few days. But now I'm here, ready to work, and let's get on with it. Kwazia.
This week I started in with Griff. I sat in on the scaling meetings. I also worked more on the payment thing, which I'd like to have some multi-sig actions for after the meeting if people want to stick around for. Got the testing polished off for that. I also worked more on getting the initial projects up for social coding. I have at least 4 projects that I think are going to go forward with that, and I'm going to try and get the people that showed interest in those to sort of organize them so that I can step away from that and move forward with other things. I did more with ERC777 integration on Aragon, but that's not super relevant. That's basically it. I will pass off to Alex.
All right. So this week I started doing the payments for everybody to get that organized so that we can try and get that testing done tonight. And well, that's pretty much all I've been up to the last week. Just trying to organize and get the information. All right. With that, I will choose Jen.
All right, thanks. I mostly annoyed RJ and Alex to help me with my confusion about the dApp and my addresses. Got that done and reviewed a couple of milestones. Last week I did some Wiki articles. Yeah, I think it was last week. So that's it. I pass it on to Chris. You're muted, I think.
Yeah, I know. Unmuting. So hi. So I'm just going to do this report with my unicorns t-shirt that normally will give light with my voice. So as an extra asset today, we just got it at the Thai market. So what I did this week, we did a call about swag that we want to make, like this thing, for example. And it turned into a brainstorming for all creative materials. More coming up on that. I reviewed the video that was made by Joanna. So we're gonna continue with that one, and it looks really nice. A long interview with Clio, our new communications contributor. Then another text, the status text that Clio wrote, the Yailer text for the status contest. Then a lot of pre-product meeting discussions with Satya and Wojtek and so on how this is going to work. The reward DAO review of the text, and then milestone reviewing process thingies. And then there was a 2 hours comms meeting, and then I also arrived in Thailand. And I think that's about it for me. And I pass it on to Griff. Did you already go?
I haven't. So my biggest task for the week is to train my boss. I'm so excited. I have a boss. I feel so lucky. And she did a lot of work for us. Linz is her name. And I'll probably get her to come to some governance meetings here occasionally and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, she should be here now, in fact. Anyway, she made a bunch of milestones. She's doing a lot of coordination. She's pushing a lot of stuff for me so I can be free to do the fun stuff, which is amazing. I talked with a lot of people: Kenya, Alice, Colony, Aragon, Swarm City. You know, I'm just a chatty Cathy talking to everybody. Push out some white hat group stuff. I'm pushing a bunch of articles with Clio and reading all the awesome articles. Man, we're finally starting to get a lot of stuff on Medium, which is cool. The status thing got us 3 posts right there. So Oz even made a post, which was cool. And let's see, doing the triple checks and helping Alex with that. Exchange rates, put together a document for that. The Scaling Now stuff, which is actually taking a lot of time. Researching the people I'm going to interview and producing an interview that has some value to people. I'm surprised with the success of that so far. And also organizing a conference in Barcelona, which is going to end up being more of a gathering. So it's like a small workshop for scaling people, just the scaling people on the 5th, and then on the 6th, a bigger thing that will be application and donation only, and trying to set up, at least in my mind, how that will work with Givit's platform, so I can have a proposal to you guys for how we will address that and integrate them onboard this new campaign. And did some governance research and coordination for Thailand and Barcelona, just like, where people are going to be. And the Argonne audit, of course. So yeah, who else needs to go? Wojtek.
All right, guys. So I've done also a lot of meetings, precisely 9 hours, because I've counted. It was interesting for me. I've been working on some coding for the DApp. I've had an interesting meeting in a town very near from here with some investors and charities. So that's interesting feedback from Czech Republic there, which that was really interesting. And I guess that's more or less it. There's a lot of small stuff, but nothing really big. Did RJ go or someone else?
I haven't gone. So I just worked a little bit on the triple checking stuff, and then mostly just kind of working on liquid pledging still, making it cheaper to use. I don't know who hasn't gone. Has Yaler gone?
No, I haven't gone. What's up, guys? I've been doing a little bit of research on Steam to see what getting started over there looks like. I'm still waiting for accounts to be confirmed because I think they have a really high application rate at the moment. And then I am also working on a few different articles and trying to work my way through the Wikipedia for Giveth. It's proving to be a little more difficult than I originally encountered, but that is it. Kai, have you gone? Okay. Anyone else? I was late.
I think Alex went, right? Yeah, I think everyone went. So I guess we can just get this party started. Let's try to be really quick with things in general, and I'm the worst at it, so I'll try to be quick. But let's check in. So intentions for the meeting. I have a couple of proposals, and I am not distracted. How about Yele?
Not distracted. Here. That's it.
You got to pick someone.
Sorry. Satya.
Yeah, I'm not distracted, except the heater is broken, so I'm fucking cold here. Wojtek.
Not distracted. I'm warm here. Jen.
4 degrees. Not distracted. Chris.
Not distracted, only by my unicorn, and it's the intention is just to make some proposals. And here it's 30 degrees, so the airco is on. And I pick RJ.
Not distracted, and just intend to hear what people have to say. Kai?
Not really distracted, just writing the notes, helping Arthur here. And how are you? Huh? Oh, shit. My setup went. You still don't hear me?
I hear you fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm not distracted except for the notes and my mic. So are you distracted, Arthur?
I can only hear the people in the same room as me now. I swear.
Oh, he has audio problems. That's it.
I have audio problems.
So, but you're distracted because of your audio problems.
I am distracted.
Okay, so we should skip him for now.
Well, we can hear
Alex?
him through your mic, just so you know.
Oh, I can put the mic here. No, I can't. It's okay.
Next.
Alex.
All right. I'm not distracted except for my unicorn because I have the same shirt as Chris. And I have a joint proposal with Arthur and I believe Chris as well. And I'm looking forward to this meeting and seeing what comes out of it. With that, I'll go to Jen. Did you already go, Jen?
I did, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Then I think that's everybody.
No, I'm sure there's someone. RJ, did you go?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, everyone went, I think.
Everybody went.
Really? That was so fast, guys. Wow, we're doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's do agenda items. Oh, and also I'm going to put the link to the Sandstorm here. So agenda topics.
Yes, sorry, milestone reporting. That's my first. Second one is team up. And sorry, and the third one is regular contributor reward DAO.
Okay.
Sorry, I have one more. Sorry, I have one more. And the fourth one is communication budget. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh boy, it's going to be a long meeting. Okay, I have videos for milestones and objections as proposals.
I just have an announcement. I'm pregnant. No.
Oh, congrats.
No. I only have an announcement legal. Because I would follow up. So.
Yeah. Any other proposals? Okay. Well, let's start off.
No. Arthur, he has really audio problems. Maybe we should sit near. Say what you want to say. Just in my mic.
Yeah, I'd like to propose potentially using Lumio or something else for governance so that we can try and offload part of these meetings.
3 words.
Lumio for governance.
Thank you guys. Okay, so I also see Google for Calendar and TeamUp. I assume that's going to be the same. Same, proposal. So we're going to start with reporting. Chris?
Yes. Okay. So the tension is so it's going to be a short one, I think, because everyone will agree. So I think it's important to have good milestone reporting. Satya gave me some good advice there. And it's also important for people to have good understanding of what happened in the future when they look at our milestones, because we had some issues with these first few. So my proposal is that as of now, that you always add a link, as much links as possible to your proof of work. So for some people, it's easy with a GitHub link. For me, it's more. And you also always link to your video. So if you're not in the governance meeting, you upload it to the Wall of Fame. If you are, you link to the timestamp, or probably so the beginning of this YouTube stream. And so what I also will do, to make it easy for everyone, I will create a short wiki post, both for internal as other external contributors, with this guidance. So I will put all the links in there and how it works. The proposal is good detailed milestones, because there was a lot of rework to be done, and that I will create a wiki post for guidance, both for us as for contributors, for milestone proposals.
Clarifying question.
Yeah.
My proposal was going to be to impose that videos be required for every milestone. Can we include that into your proposal?
Yeah.
Okay. Kills one. Any other clarifying questions? Okay.
I do have one, sorry. This is for regular rewards. This is not for expenses or stuff like that, right?
This is for regular rewards.
Videos.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe expenses. Expenses are the only exception.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Okay. Any other clarifying questions? Okay. Reaction round. I'll go first. Love it. Sounds great. Thumbs. How about Satya?
Yeah. So I think, we should do something like build a template, and we load that template in the milestone editors. Like for Git issues, you also can do templates, because each project, I mean, now it's just us, but in the future there will be other charities that might want to, have another standard of filling out milestones. So my suggestion is that, okay, it's a good proposal, but we could make some kind of template system at some point in the near future. And then about the video, I don't know if that's always the right thing to post there. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it just takes a lot of work in some cases. I think we should link to the appropriate thing that is the proof. It doesn't have to be video. I do think, however, that we should integrate this Wall of Fame videos inside the milestones. But I'm not really in favor of saying that you have to add a video. I don't think video is nice, but if you can prove it in another way, I think it's fine too. Chris. Right? Sorry.
No, Chris is the only person you can't call.
I proposed this.
Yeah, sorry. RJ then.
Yeah, I'm going to second. I don't think it should be a requirement to stone for proof. First, I hate videos. And second, if you have, like, for writing code, I think links to the code is just as good a proof as a video. I think for some things they're appropriate. But yeah, it's just my opinion. Wojtek.
Yeah, this is hard. I can also foresee situations where video would not be the best medium, so I would be against saying that this is a requirement. And I'm also very much, I actually wanted to also say that we should create a template which doesn't need to be in the DApp right now, but we should already create such templates for any new milestones, because we have regular rewards and reward style. Those could be 2 templates already. Kai?
So I think that it would be, it should not be required in like as a hard measure, but it should be very, 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 very much encouraged, especially once we have what Satya proposed, that we can have the videos in the milestones. Because it took me a long time, but I got why we want to focus on video, and I think it's very important actually. It might be a bit early now, but I think sooner or later this will be very relevant. So yeah, so the same. We should do the videos as often as we can, but no hard rules. And the template is definitely a good thing. And I give the word to Yaler.
I agree with Kai. I think that the videos are good, but not a hard requirement. That is all.
Pick someone.
I pick Oz. Oh, Oz, you're muted.
Hey guys, I just joined. I didn't really hear the proposal, but it sounds like adding videos to milestones. Obviously, I'm in favor of that. I totally get that the pull requests are, those are also really good proof. But any other proof that's kind of not that is basically taking pictures of receipts and writing stuff down. That could be faked like in the future. Obviously now it's probably not going to be a problem. So I kind of think it's a little bit short-sighted. It's too cruel to say. It's not that bad, but obviously I'm a video fan, so I'll just leave it at that. Passing it on to Chris.
Yeah, I do.
Well, as a father of the Video Wall of Fame, I love the idea. But become something mandatory for me is not the right thing. And at some point, you maybe need to prove your worth in another way. Sometimes you spend a lot of time recording a video when you have to spend the time in other thing more important. So I don't like so much the mandatory thing, but I think that should be a recommendation, a high recommendation. So next one, Alex.
Okay, so I think that after further review, the video proof shouldn't be essential, but I think there should be a proof of work. So whether that's video or a picture with some sort of verification that it's you and like a time date sort of deal. But there should be a proof of work with each milestone so that any independent reviewer can go and check that and be like, okay, there's at least something there. I see like a pull request or a video or pictures of receipts and something like that. And with that, I will choose Kai.
Did go already, Jen?
Yeah, thanks. So I'm in favor of videos, and I think it's a great proof of work to have a video. I remember that we already talked about this a couple of weeks ago probably, and actually choose this as proof of work for milestones. So is the question just to have different or additional proofs of work? Not quite getting that. I do understand, of course, RJ, of course you're not making, or I do understand that you don't want to make a video of writing code, but I think that a video is the quickest, for me at least, quickest, easiest, and best proof of work. So I definitely think we should stay with that. But Chris, maybe you can clarify this. Is it just like an addition, or do you want to get rid of the videos, or do you want to have just and only videos?
Okay, so no, the video is additional. You always have to also link to what you did, so the proof. So I think everyone went, and I can amend and clarify, or who didn't go? Did everyone go?
I really want to go. I kind of give up my spot. Can I go?
What did you say?
I kind of gave up my spot, but I really want to go. Will you let me go?
Griff wants to talk.
You had a reaction. It was love it. It's there in the notes.
Yeah, your reaction. But I know what you will react, Griff. So I'll make an adaptive proposal. So and then you can still object, Griff. So I know adaptive proposal. First of all, for the idea is definitely that if you do a milestone that is obligatory, that you link to your proof of work, whatever it is, because otherwise if you don't listen to the video, it's really, and a video doesn't prove anything. So let's definitely link to your proof. Additionally, I would say that it is highly recommended. Personally, I can also say we now made it obligatory for contributors. So it would be strange not to make it obligatory for us. I also want to say that 90% or 95% of the people who are in this meeting already recorded this video in the beginning and always do. So I think there's no problem of making this video. Long answer. So a amended proposal is we do video highly recommended. We definitely link to the proof of work. And we look at making a template in the future in the DApp we make it part of the roadmap to develop a template for different styles and for charities and so on. Any objections?
I want to have a question. I'm sorry. Can I ask a question?
I guess.
I'm still not really getting it. So why do we have different? Why is there something different needed for regular reward people than our contributors? They make videos, and this is the proof of work. Why does it has to be different for people with regular rewards?
Well, okay, so let's try to not have too much crosstalk, but I'll answer this one quickly. So they also have to give actual proof of work in the sense that they get points for the things that we link to. So when we give points or we will give a bounty, then we link to their proof of work. So there's always a link plus a video for them. For contributors, it is both. So my recommendation is that we do both as well for regular rewards, which is already done with this video in the beginning of the governance meeting. So that's my reaction. So can we try to pass this one? Are there any objections?
I don't know what the proposal is now, because it sounded like you were here. Maybe repeat the proposal.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll briefly repeat the proposal. The proposal is that we do good milestone reporting. This means that you always link to the proof of work as much as possible, where possible, and it is highly recommended that you also add a link to the video. Normally, that would be the link of this governance meeting stream. If you didn't, it is to the Wall of Fame. This is highly recommended. This is not obligatory, but it's highly recommended as we make it obligatory for contributors. That's the proposal.
Any objections? Proposal passed. Okay, team up Google Calendar. That's kind of a team up proposal.
Yeah, so I worked it out a little bit. 1 second. So the thing is, right now, we are currently using TeamUp, and it was a really good proposal that Wojtek made, but it was never actually in the governance meeting. But we did this to have a calendar that was that looked better, actually. But the issue, the tension that I now see is that TeamUp is not very user-friendly. It's not well integrated in other programs. I don't get it to sync always. You cannot write in it. It doesn't adapt time zones if you share a link. So yeah, my proposal here is that we use Google Calendar because we already have regular reward people have already access to our drive. So it's very easy to write in this. It's also easy to share view-only things. Very important, it just got a complete overhaul. So it has a very slick and clean look now. Easy to share, it has a time zones, and it now also has, if you have the Jitsi extension, it immediately adds even Jitsi video link integration. So that's a proposal to use as of now Google Calendar, and if this is okay, I can start setting this up. Start using Google Calendar instead of TeamUp. That's a proposal.
Questions?
Yeah, we just moved from Google. Are you kidding me?
No, because it's a very easy thing, actually, because right now there are 3 or 4 recurrent meetings in, so it's a 5 minutes thing to change. And as I said, I will change this, and it was never passed in the governance meeting, hence proposing this. And since that moment, Google Calendar got a visual overhaul. If you check it, it is very slick, even better than TeamUp.
Any other clarifying questions? Okay, reaction round. Who wants to go?
I can go. So I very much support this. One of the reasons why we used this TeamUp was because Google was pain in the ass to work with. I've checked the new version. For me, it makes sense to just use that. I'll go with Kai because I know he'll have some opinion about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay low on this one, but just so you know, we have a calendar that's open source on our Sandstorm. The thing is called Radicale. It's a marriage of calendar and contacts. But it's not so it's no Google Calendar. That's the only thing I want. I don't care. For me, the important thing is that the team can make new events. Like I have to make new events. If I choose, I want to make a meeting. I want to be able to do that. That's my. I love open source. Best open source. If we go for something else, I'm out. So I don't care. We can use whatever we want. Next. Yeah, Arthur. Arthur uses my mic.
Am I working?
Yeah.
You should just use Kai's mic. Just use Kai's mic. Mute yours. It works, but we can hear you through Kai's.
I'm for this. I don't have anything to say.
Got to pick someone.
Yeller.
I vote yay for Google Calendar, and I choose Oz.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good to me. Choose Alex.
All right. So I think this is a great idea. I've helped propose this. For us, this last week, time zones have been very confusing and not consistent, and it's been very difficult to figure out the times for. We're meeting at this time in CET, we're meeting at this time in PST. To try and figure that ourselves is taking more time than it's worth, and I believe this is a much better choice. But I'm also open to other suggestions that are as diverse as Google Calendars, as far as being used in other programs and being able to do things like us for time zone conversion. And with that, I pass it on to Griff.
I hope we never. I hope the next time we change calendars, it's to an open source thing. Otherwise, we just stick with Google Calendar forever, and that's perfectly fine because everyone uses it. How about RJ?
I guess one problem I have with our documents in general is they're fragmented and all over the place. We have the Sandstorm, we have Google Docs. Like, I find that highly annoying instead of just having like one place we can go to find everything. So I think we should make a decision. Do we want to support open source and maybe live with the rough edges, or do we just want to deal with Google's crap and use their stuff because it works? And based off of that, then we could use Google Calendar, or if we decide that open source is important and we want to support that, then we should definitely give the Sandstorm stuff a try first. Oz.
I went.
Edu?
For me, it's fine. I like Google Calendar. It's useful. And until we found a better solution, open source, for me it's fine.
Jen.
Yeah, sorry.
I literally don't care. Whatever works for most people works for me.
And Sasha, I think, is the last one.
Yeah. I like Google Calendar. I don't like Google's evil. What can you say? I don't care, actually.
Okay, I think that's everyone. Chris?
Okay, so I get the idea of going to open source, completely in favor of it, but for the moment, let's not cut down on productivity. So I propose that we indeed go for Google Calendar. If in the future the open source solution evolves, we can go with that one when we migrate. But for now we go for Google Calendar. With regards to RJ's remark with the fragmentation, I very much agree with this, but I propose that someone makes a separate proposal when it comes to all the documents. But proposal sticks with changing to Google Calendar. I think we have a majority for that proposal.
Can I make one suggestion? Because we moved our email to Zoho, and they also have a calendar.
Yeah, but they don't have...
Good joke, man.
we
fucking Yahoo. What about you?
Hey, I got a proposal. Let's switch our email to Google.
And that's not free, unfortunately.
Okay, so well, we were gonna do this efficiently today, not too much crosstalk. So the proposal stays Google Calendar, and we move to more open source in the future wherever possible.
Any objections? Proposal passed. Let's go with the reward DAO. I think it's you, Chris. Reward DAO.
Okay, I have too much open here. Hang on. Reward DAO. Oh yeah. So right now I see the tension that regular contributors are sometimes getting rewards for things that they do on top of their work. So to me, this creates a little bit of an imbalance, because the points were actually with the idea of having outside people invited and getting into the project. Whenever they start doing more regular stuff, we give them bounties or we give them a regular reward. So yeah, because the tension is also in that now, for example, circle leads cannot get points because otherwise they're biased on giving the points, or the point leads, however we call them. So that's half of the regular rewards people's already. So that this is a bit of an imbalance that already some people also talked to me about. So the proposal is now, if you want to dish out points and it's to regular reward people, you just give unicorn points to like the regular reward members. And this is just a symbolical way of giving points. And you can, if you want to log them or whatever, you do it. But I would not give like actual points that are an ether value. So that is my proposal. Any clarifications?
Nope. Sounds like a reaction round. Who wants to start?
I'll start. I'm in agreement, and I'll pass it off to Oz. Oz, you're muted if you're talking.
Damn, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
A bit frozen.
Sorry, I'm on my phone. I'll get off. I'll just switch after this. But I was just going to say that, I don't know, it's a very interesting point. You know, it's a very interesting currency experiment, social experiment. And so, yeah, this unicorn feature sounds like another cool thing. I just wanted to say that I enjoy the experiment, and I'm glad that we're thinking about and trying things out. It's definitely like a big part of what I think governance should be focused on, like how to use these incentives and adjust where necessary. So now we'll pass it on to Wojtek.
Yeah, I very much agree. I think this is a good proposal. Satya?
Yeah, I didn't get enough points lately, but no kidding. Yeah, I mean, I don't want the points at all. I'm already getting a reward regularly, and I do my job. And if I do something outside of my job, it's still my job. So I don't see the proposal passed for me. Alex?
I think Alex went. I'll go.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think regular rewards should get points. Or Yaler?
I agree with the proposal. I pick Edu.
I agree too with the proposal. Jen?
Yeah, I'm all in favor. I think none of the regular rewards people should get any governance or com points or whatever, because they are for not regular reward people. So yeah. Who didn't go? Quasia, did you say something?
I don't know.
I agree. That sounds great. Griff?
I disagree strongly, but that's okay. So I actually think that we should just start giving reward points or reward DAO points to everyone all the time, and we shouldn't give people points, or we shouldn't. I would rather have the bias and allow people to get points. But I think that there's a good middle ground here with the unicorn points, and it makes a lot of sense. So I can't argue against that. I actually think it's a great idea. Unicorn points for regular reward people. That way they can still be points being dished. And I would like to even start a fund for unicorn points for people who are going above and beyond and integrating into multiple circles, because when people step out of their circle to help out other circles, that's really cool. And I think that it should be rewarded. So yeah, who hasn't gone?
Can I just interject with that, with Griff's point? I think that there maybe should be some incentive to the unicorn point. I don't think it should be monetary. I think it should be some sort of item that is chosen.
Love, man, love.
Maybe like extra hugs when we all see each other or something. But it shouldn't be monetary for the regular reward people. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, did everyone go?
No. But everybody agrees it's boring. So I do agree that I don't think we should get the regulars should not get any of those gov points. I do think that Griff's problem is that there should be some kind of outstanding award, but in my mind, for a regular contributor, that should actually be a re-evaluation of that person's and I think that should be actually for everybody. And this is something we never talked about, and we should at some point, not now, I'm just want to skim it, because I think there should be some sort of appreciation, as Griff said, for somebody that goes above and beyond. Does it have to be monetary? No. Is it usually monetary? Yes. Should it be different than what the volunteers get? Totally. Very important in my mind. So let's experiment. I don't know if unicorn points are the way, but we can collect them and see what happens. So longer agree. And I think is anybody left? No?
I think everyone went.
Yeah.
So amend and clarify?
Yes. So I think let's stick with this proposal that we do not do it for regular rewards. People, they do not get points, but they do get unicorn points. And let's discuss between us what the unicorn points can actually be and in what this can be translated in the future. So I propose that this becomes the next proposal, what the unicorn points could be. Hugs or something else. Griff,
clarifying question. What do we do with the points that have been awarded? Do we delete them, turn them to 0, or?
I would say that what has been awarded, I don't know. I have no opinion on that. I would say like, what has been awarded has been awarded. I don't know. I don't know if there's that many regular reward people who got points in the previous one. My proposal is just to not do it anymore. I have no opinion on the previous ones. That's not my proposal.
This is kind of like an objection now that Griff said his thing, or maybe it's a clarifying thing. But since you're saying that these unicorn points are coming up, could it be part of the proposal just to change those to unicorn points, or is that just not cool? That's
okay, but then maybe do a quick. Then I'll do just. Okay, I change my proposal to change the current points to that regular reward people already got to unicorn points, and maybe we should do a quick reaction round to see if everyone agrees.
No reaction round. If anyone strongly disagrees, they can object.
Okay.
Any objections? Everyone agrees. Okay. Proposal pass.
Okay.
Next proposal is communications budget.
It's all me. Okay. So it's also a quick one. This is going to go quite easy, I think. So the tension is that right now the communication budget is a little bit. It will be tight in the future because we now have Yealer and Clio, very great communications people. Clio has lots of experience. Yealer has already written some beautiful stuff for us too, lots of insights, and we have lots of extra things that we want them to do. But there's not that much budget in the long term left in our circle. So the proposal is that we move Kai on the governance budget. So this has been discussed with Kai, and Kai agrees with this, and Griff agrees with this as well. So the proposal is to move Kai on the governance budget. So it's just a formality, actually. Any clarification? Yeah, right.
The clarifying question and pertinent information is that this means that you will keep the same budget allocation. However, the governance will actually pay Kai's salary.
Correct.
Any clarifying questions? Okay, reaction round. I can start this one. I actually think governance ended up with a higher budget than it needed, considering that I don't see onboarding people, and Kai has been doing a lot of governance stuff. So I feel like he will end up helping out a lot. And I think the comms could use a little extra budget for Yealer and Clio. So I am in total agreement with this. And I think that it's easier to avoid any budget discussion like that is traumatic for us as an organization. So I would really like to just keep the numbers as they are and allocate accordingly once we move to this. And actually on this point a little bit, I don't know that we talked about allocations a lot, but that should probably be discussed by the circle leads in a small group conversation so that we can just make sure we're all aligned on how we're going to do that. Oz.
Sounds good to me. I love this circles, working together and doing their thing. Thanks for passing it by us. Moving on to Jen.
Same here. Thanks for letting us know. I like this idea of switching and changing. Wojtek.
Yeah, I completely don't have any issue with that. I'm just asking whether this is something that we should actually talk about in this governance meeting, whether this is not more like announcement to me, since it has no impact on anyone, basically. RJ?
Yeah, no opinion. I feel like this is a circle decision within the two circles, since the overall budget isn't changing or anything. Or distributions, Satya?
Nothing to add to that. Edu?
Yeah, nothing to add. I agree. So next one, Alex.
Nothing to add, and Kai.
Yeah, okay, sure. I do agree that this is more of an announcement, but it's totally for the governance meeting because it's actually changing some of the organization. It's really not much. It's superficial, but this totally belongs here. Thanks. I want to make this quick. Yaler?
Yeah, from my understanding, it sounds good. Nothing to add. I choose Oz.
Thanks. Arthur? I just went, or I already went. Is that Arthur? Nice.
Sorry if I got on the mic here.
Yeah, my only objection is that social coding couldn't afford another person to steal him. But other than that, I agree. Pass. Who still needs to go?
That might be everyone.
Okay.
Amanda, clarify?
Yes, so it seems to be okay for everyone, so I stick to this current proposal to move Kai from communication to governance. And yeah, I also think this belongs in the governance meeting if there's like a change to the team. It's more than just an announcement. So this is a proposal.
I just thought of something. Very sorry for milestones. Is it okay? Just very quick. I do it from now on in governance. Okay, so nobody's confused. Everything stays the same. Every milestone from now on goes to governance.
Any objections? Proposal passed. Okay, next one is objections as proposals. That's me. Okay, so I'll try to make it quick. Basically, there was the tension was that there was a decision made in the DAP circle that affected other circles, and people didn't feel that they had adequate means to discuss that decision. Although we should have been in the DAP circle for one reason or another, time zones, blah, blah, blah. It didn't happen, so it was rectified by a discussion in the DAP circle the next week. However, there was like a whole week of discussions, blah, blah, blah. And so in general, it's kind of like a two-part proposal. I'm really going to try to bug everyone to read this Wikipedia article that is, in fact, this whole wiki is pretty much what I'm basing the governance of Giveth off of. So it would make a lot of sense. I actually didn't find it until recently, but the book that I read and Holacracy is really deep in this wiki. So I'm going to try to get everyone to read this wiki on conflict resolution and advice rounds. But the main actual proposal is to implement in the governance meeting or any meeting. A proposal can be a tension in a proposal, or it can actually be an objection to something that happened in a decision that was made anywhere in the group. We have to be really careful with these objections. The default is for people to be able to make decisions, but if there hasn't been adequate advice given and people feel that they have some expertise or some stake in that decision, they need an adequate procedure. So the procedure is anyone can object to a decision that has been made as long as you believe that it follows the same objection requirements that we have in the governance circle, mainly that it is not safe enough to try. And if it's safe enough to try, it will not be considered a valid objection. There won't be any discussion. But if it is not safe enough to try, then we can continue the discussion. Okay, so that's the background. Objections as a new form of proposal and tension in governance.
I got a clarifying question, maybe, I think. Is it possible? I just don't see. You can make a new proposal the next week. Can't that new proposal be objection-y? Like, is there really a difference here?
The objection round is like, the thing is, it's kind of also like, okay, someone made a proposal and someone's not in a meeting. They need a way to, normally if they were in the meeting, they would be able to object. Well, now we're saying objections can happen, extend, even if you're not in the meeting at the time or whatever, objections can happen as a proposal. And the thing that's different than a tension or a proposal is that attention in a proposal always needs to be heard. It's always safe enough to try. Whereas this objection is a little bit weaker because they can actually be shut down before there's any reaction round. There's a check on it saying, oh, you object to a decision being made? Well, let's qualify it. Is it safe enough to try? Is it harming Giveth in some way? You know, like those questions. And then it's easier to throw it out as opposed to a proposal and attention, which is hard to throw out. Any other clarifying questions?
How is this not covered by Lumio?
That will be the next thing, but it might be covered by Lumio. And anything that happens in Lumio should be, it doesn't have to be part of the governance meeting stuff. Any other clarifying questions? Reaction round. How about Kai?
Yeah, sorry, you were so quick. Now I had a clarifying question, and is this any? We talked about this rethinking, reinventing our own organization a bit. Is this part of this or no?
This is part of the Reinventing Organizations book. In a way,
is.
It's just slightly, but it's a modification for sure.
So my reaction is then that I have researching this and pondering how, especially our, we have a few shortcomings. We have some stuff not. There's some stuff that's in our minds, and it's not black on white, and people can say, okay, it's a policy. So what I would like to do is take a step back and reorganize a little. And I'm talking about greasing mostly. I don't want to, very important, I don't want to disrupt. Like all these changes should be very organic. And I think I will come up with something next week. So this...
I'm sorry, I have a clarifying question. What are we talking about here? I'm not
what are we talking about? I'm sorry. So I'm not sure if I totally understand the proposal, but
what did you talk about?
Yeah, something else. Not something else. It's connected, but it's a very big topic. The topic is how are we organized? How is Giveth working as an organization? And are the rules clear to everybody? Is everybody aligned? And I don't think there's yes to everything. And I'm totally hijacking this proposal, so we'll stop now and say, I abstain from this. Actually, it makes no sense anymore. Sorry.
Right now, I'm super confused, Griff. I'm really sorry. Can you?
I'm so sorry.
Can you tell me again what your proposal is?
Kai is jet lagged.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, Kai just flew in from Thailand. He's on 1 hour sleep for the last who knows how long. But anyway, the proposal is that we have an objection, the ability to object to decisions that have been made in circles. So instead of the governance a part of a circle always being tension proposal, that's one option. The second option is an objection option, where you challenge a decision, and that objection can only be heard if that previous decision that you're objecting to is not safe enough to try. So in the proposal tension round, everyone gets heard and everyone has a thought, and it's very difficult for someone to say that proposal is not valid. As we see, we have lots of proposals. In the objection round, there's a higher bar, and so I'm just adding this higher bar if we want to disagree with the decision. If anyone thinks it's not safe enough to try, we have this outlet. That's the proposal. So Jen.
Thanks a million. I think that's a great idea. That's all. Oz.
Hey, thanks. So yeah, I just want to be this quick, but from what I've heard, I don't like the idea. I do think it's kind of a danger because we already learned how to use this process. I might suggest that if we want to introduce this new process, perhaps the governance meeting could be a nice lab rat to test it out a few times before other circles try it. Because right now it just sounds like a recipe for conflict. But that at the same time, I didn't experience whatever the problem was that created this tension. So yeah, I'll pass it on to Yaler.
It sounds good from my understanding, but also I didn't experience what the problem was either. So I'm going to kind of agree with Oz and say that testing would be good, if that's okay. And then I'll pass it on to Edu.
Well, for my understanding, that makes sense. So it's good for me. I pass to Alex.
I don't agree with this proposal at all. I think that Loomio covers all of this, and we can do this all offline of the governance meeting and then bring it on to the governance meeting if necessary, because Loomio decided that we needed to. Because Loomio is a great voting platform that will handle all of this. And with that, I'll pass it on to Arthur.
I'd like to at least try that. I do think it's important to have more than one mechanism to make decisions, but I don't think this is something that we should try in the overarching governance room. I'll pass it on to Chris.
Okay. So I would maybe first of all say that I believe most of all in communication, but because I was in these discussions this week, and it is definitely so that I felt myself that I wasted a lot of time and energy discussing with those people, but I always prefer first connecting and not avoiding a discussion and then just objecting in a meeting saying no, this I said a veto here. So yeah, I just wanted to say this first because I think it's important. So I will still always strive to do that with or without success. Apart from that, I agree with the feedback that we should test it and not immediately say like, let's do this. My counter proposal would be maybe to test it out together with Loomio in the social coding circle, first of all, if that is a possibility, because they're experimenting big time there. And if that is not possible, because I see Arthur like looking strangely at me, then we can do it as a test in the governance circle. So sorry for a bit longer reaction. And I think, is there anyone left? RJ?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm not sure. Maybe Loomio covers this use case. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. But I think we need to have some type of mechanism for handling this situation. And I tend to agree that maybe multiple mechanisms for handling a given situation is a good idea as well. Wojtek?
So I feel a little bit opinionated about this. I mean, I do agree that there needs to be a process. However, I would like that process not to be abused, and because we support autonomy within circles to some extent, right? And often it's hard to identify whether something impacts other circles as well. So there needs to be a second guessing thing as you propose, that's for sure. But I would like to have less governance and more work overall. But I'll take also this opportunity to say I'm sorry to everyone who thinks that we made the decision and I was the one who was pushing it as well. I still, to this moment, I still also think a little bit that maybe it's not actually a problem of the whole DAC, but a problem to the DApp. But I also accept your, views, and if you see that, then I agree, and we need to solve it as a whole DAC. Satya?
Yeah, I agree with Wojtek here. I think circles they can make decisions for themselves, but I think the problem here is that it's not always clear which decision circles or which decision should be made in which circle. So I think the way we handled it was actually, yeah, pretty cool. We just made a decision, and afterwards we had discussion, and we made a new decision. There was objections. I don't see we need another mechanism. I mean, we can just go next week and make a new proposal with attention. But I think the real problem is that if you're in doubt, if your circle can make that decision, then we should probably bring it to somewhere else. And I think will solve like most of all this. That's all. Who didn't go? I think everybody went.
Okay, cool. Well, on that last note, I actually think that people should be encouraged to make decisions that they feel and get it over with, because decision apprehension is the worst. And sometimes we just need to make decisions quick and have it be okay. And then if you think it's safe enough to try, I think that's a good idea. I don't want the bureaucracy to be so bad. So I really like the idea that it's like we just let people decide on things and have a check. And the reason I like this adding this objection thing is because I feel like it's a less of a process, where the proposal tension, then we have to have a whole reaction round. And anytime someone thinks that someone is making the wrong decision, they come, they make a proposal, they say their tension, they make a proposal, and then they say, hey, I didn't like your decision, I think you're going rogue, and then everyone has to react to it. Whereas in this case, with the objection added in, it's actually simpler, because the facilitator of that meeting can say, wait, is the decision you're objecting to safe enough to try? And so to me, it's actually cutting down bureaucracy a lot and saving us meeting time. But that being said, the reaction was very negative to this. So I will table this and maybe propose it again if, well, what I'll say is, hey, we're free people. You can kind of just do what you want. And if you object to a decision, the first thing, actually, I'm not going to table it, because the first part of this proposal, which wasn't commented on, is that I'm going to go around and send some wiki posts to everybody and make sure they read it about conflict resolution and decision making within our structure, because this wiki basically described exactly what I thought we were doing. So and I'm going to go around and try to make sure everyone reads that. And then this objection thing hopefully shouldn't be necessary anyway. And I'm excited to hear about Lumio. So any objections?
That sounds interesting. No, sorry. All right, no objections.
Okay, no objections. Sold. Now the next one is Lumio, I think. Arthur?
Yeah, he's getting the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, so the tension that I have is that the meetings are getting to the point where they take quite long. I think that the time component of meetings is influencing the way that people approach them, and we could offload some of this work into some sort of time zone agnostic organization tool. So at least the proposal of tensions and clarifying questions, for the most part, can be handled ahead of time, and then we can have a more open, crosstalk-y dialogue to finalize things. My proposal for this is that we start trying to experiment with Lumio in some way. It has a lot of different tools. We might not find the one that we like immediately. I still think the general structure of what we're doing is good. I just think we could save time if we use more tools. Any clarifying questions?
I don't get the proposal. Can you repeat it? Sorry.
There is a tool, an open source tool that's fairly slick that lets you vote on things, not necessarily in a decisive way, but to show sentiment towards something like tensions and proposals that we could use in place of a meeting. If we were to do this, it would let us get a lot of the prep and the things that are on autopilot in these meetings out of the way ahead of time. And then the interesting stuff where people actually disagree and they're like, no, we should do it this way, blah, 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 blah. The things that usually happen basically in amend and clarify and in the clarifying question, well, not clarifying questions, the question, basically at the end, where people are like, I really want to crosstalk, but I'm not going to. That's what our meetings can be about. I don't have a strong feeling about how that takes form. I just think that we're going to save time if we use this tool. Is that more clear? It's certainly more verbose.
Any clarifying questions?
I have a clarifying question. Do we know how long that will, like, what would that look like in the lead up to the meeting? Is it like that communication's happening all week long, or is it hours before the meeting happening?
If I had to give you an answer on that, I would say it would be all week. I want the space that this happens during to be as wide as possible, but I don't have a strong feeling. If the decision that people put forward is, I react to this, it sounds great, it should happen 20 minutes before the meeting, and we should all try and juggle this new tool in 20 minutes, I'm cool with that. I just want to play with it. Is that more clear? Any more clarifying questions?
Nope.
All right, reactions to start it off.
Okay, I can go. If you mute, Kai.
No, second, sorry.
Okay, so I think it's a really good idea because if the meetings become like you guys had apparently last week of 2 hours, then we're gonna get like meeting sickness, and that's the last thing we want, too much bureaucracy and too much meetings. So very good idea. However, my feedback would be, let's maybe try out what works best, but I don't think it's a bad idea that whenever you have, if that's possible with Lumio, whenever you have a proposal, you put it in there. I write down my proposals during the week when they come up in my mind, and whenever you say, I have really good tension here in a proposal, you put it in and the discussion can start, and then it can crystallize during the week. I think that would be nice to have. Second feedback element is, I would still prefer that we don't have too much crosstalk during the meeting and that we keep it a bit clean cut like we try to do now. But it will just be then less than an hour meeting. So that will be good. We'll just get proposals passed quicker. And if we have time in the end to chat, we just do that. And it's like a fireside chat in the end or whatever. And I pass it on to Oz.
Hey guys. So yeah, this is news to me. You know, I didn't know this tool existed, and I think we should experiment with it because it seems like kind of in the same vein of what we're trying to do. I would love if we create our own voting contracts and whatnot, but we already kind of got a huge cake in front of us. So learning from what's out there, I think, would be a nice experiment. Kind of to Yeller's point and a little bit to Chris's point, I kind of feel like I'm a little worried about the wishful thinking, like, you know, it would just organically start using it and find the best way for it. I'm wondering if having a day like all proposals have to be entered or stated by Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that, even though we all hate bureaucracy. I'm wondering if that would actually cut down, if that would make things more efficient, because then you'd kind of have this one, you know, date in your head. And then as the people that have the chance for the clarifying questions know that, oh yeah, Wednesday's that one day I have to sort of like take a look at these things if I want that meeting to be short on Thursday. And for that, I will pass it on to RJ.
Sorry. Yeah, I think having a place to like discuss things